Hi everyone, and welcome to a new knitting podcast episode. My name is Maria. I am a Romanian knitter who lives and knits in Norway, and I am hoping that you are just about to make yourself comfortable and to work on something that you like while I'll be talking about my past couple of weeks of knitting, because that's a lot to talk about. Okay, it has been a lot of weeks actually. I think I didn't update you about my knitting in October because, to be honest, I didn't felt I want to make a knitting podcast, and I think it's absolutely normal. Now, yeah, I finished a lot of things, but at the same time, maybe I didn't finish that much you might expect me to. But I finished all projects, and that's a very good thing. First of all, let me introduce you to my new book club sweater. And this is a pattern by Sari Norlund. I started this project, I think, around April, and I finished this in September. And it didn't took me so much time because it was a hard project. It's just because I stopped work on this over the summer. Okay, I've made size 3. And I've used 2 strands together. 1 strand of Isayer tweed, which is a fingering, and 1 strand of alpaca 1, which is a lace thread. And I've used the number of needles that the pattern recommends, 4mm needles. This is a very usual construction that so many designers are using. You start at the back with a small number of stitches, and then you keep increasing for the shoulders, and then continue straight with the back, and then pick up for the shoulders, work the fronts, and then join them and continue with the front as one piece, and then join the front and back in the round and continue with the body. And then you need to pick up for the sleeves and to work the sleeves in the round. Afterwards, you make a collar, double folded, and that's it. Well, not quite, but yeah, just a shortened version of this type of construction. As always, I've made a couple of modifications for personal preferences, not because there is something wrong with the pattern. The pattern is a nice one. I totally recommend it. It is a little bit, I wouldn't say hard, but it's definitely not a mindless a knitting pattern. I will stand up a little bit, although I'm always having problems with my phone showing what I want to show. This is how I wear this sweater. I could have it like this, but I actually prefer like this. So it's not mindless because there is a lot happening inside of this geometric cable motif, and that's a lot means a seed stitch. However, once you get the rhythm and you know how to start the seed stitch, if a knit one or a purl one on the front side, then it all come automatically somehow, at least for me. This is a very easy cable that it's happening every 4th row. Yeah, this is a little bit, let's say, more complex, but not hard. And it's the same on the back, if you can see. And it's the same on the sleeves. Now, after making this sweater, I came to the conclusion that when you have this type of body with generous bust measurement, like I do, and you do this type of construction, and I don't know why I didn't remember this, because I've done this modification when I've made the Dagmar sweater by Petite Knit, but in the meantime I just forgot. So when you have a big circumference bust, I would recommend you, when doing this type of construction, to work the front longer than the back, because part of the front is rising on the bust. So I will raise up a little bit, and I hope my camera will help me to show you what I mean. So if I am taking this out and I stay straight, what do you see, please? You see a longer back, yeah, and you see a shorter front. Technically, my back of the sweater, it is equal in length with my front of the sweater. But because of my bust circumference, part of the front length, it's on my bust. Yeah, so this can be a problem. And if you will search in the knitting community, on Ravelry, on Instagram, because these are the main two sources, I think, or Facebook. And if you are planning to make a sweater with this type of construction, please see the hashtag of the project. Usually the hashtag is the name of the pattern. And see pictures of people wearing this type of construction. And if you are in the large bust category, please try to see pictures with people with a bigger bust and this type of construction, and you will see how the front is shorter than the back. This can be very frustrating. Of course, in my case, I've already made this cropped because I want to wear it only with dresses on top of a dress like today. But if you want to do a regular length to wear this, I don't know, with jeans, for example, or trouser in general, you will feel very frustrated if you are, again, in the most generous bust category, to say so. So yeah, this is a recommendation, and this is something I tried myself with another pattern and it works great. And for some reason my mind just refused to remember that, and yeah, I didn't do that modification for this sweater. But again, I will stand up again, and even if it's folded, you can see the difference. Yeah, this length from here to here is on my bust. Yeah, so this is I think this is one of the most important knitting lessons I've learned by myself this year. Now, there is another aspect connected, if I may say so, with this modification we can do. I hear a lot of knitters and podcasters and people in general, not everyone, but in general, there are a lot of knitters when making a pattern from sari nylon. They are complaining about how fitted the sleeves are on lots of her patterns and how they need to go up in size for the sleeves. Now, if you need to go up for the sleeve size, you might probably have a bigger bust like I do, or a bigger circumference arm. Now, if you are doing this modification by making the front longer than the back, but making sure to finish both of them on the same row, so when you join in the round to be on the same row on both back and fronts. If you are doing this, then when you pick up stitches, you can directly pick up more stitches, like one size up, without worrying about how your pickup and the beginning of sleeve will look. Because what's happening is, if you don't do this modification by working the front longer, and if you are planning to make the sleeve one size bigger, let's say in the pattern, your sleeve here at the underarm and the upper arm might look wider than the actually opening arm. So that this can be a problem. And I know we block the items, but sometimes the yarns, they don't behave how we want them to behave. So sometimes it can work. You can pull the opening arm, so visually there is no difference in between the width of the upper arm of the sleeve and the opening arm of the sweater. But it's not always working. So by making the front longer than the back, then you will have enough opening to pick up a bigger number of stitches. Now, for me, her sleeves are working always because comparing to my bust circumference and the rest of my body measurements, my upper arm is under 40 centimeters. So this and the fact that I do enjoy slim sleeves, more fitted sleeves, it doesn't bother me. But for somebody else, might not work this thing. So this is I consider for myself a precious lesson that I've learned this year regarding this type of construction for my body. Because, I'm sure it works better for other people and other bodies, but not for mine. Now, because I talk so much about it and maybe you are not even interested about it, let me tell you a little bit about the modifications I've made. There are not that many. They are not affecting the construction or the final look of the sweater in any way. So first of all, for the neckline, you pick up a number of stitches. For every size, that might be a different number. And you need to work specific number of centimeters and then fold and sew on the inside. I've made mine a little bit shorter, so not that high that the pattern recommends. Plus, and the most important, and I want you to know that this neckline, it feels just absolutely perfect for me. Not too high, it's not wide, but at the same time, it's not close to my neck. So I feel it's so relaxed and so perfect for me. But I want you to know that for my size 3, I ignored the numbers that the designer said, and I picked up with 20 more stitches than she says. I actually picked up one stitch out of every row or out of every stitch on the neckline, for example, on the back. So I had with 20 more stitches and it worked perfectly. And I'm so happy. I know without those extra 20 stitches, I would not love this neckline. I would consider too close on the neck for my personal preference, and I will pull this just again and again and again. Okay, so that's that. And then, to be honest, one of the things that I didn't like visually in the pattern was the hem. And I feel like this type of braid cable needs a little bit more support. And I felt like the in the pattern it says to work like 4 centimeters of 1 by 1 ribbing hem. Well, I have just a little bit more, but it's not that much difference. The difference is that for the first time I've made a double knitting hem. Yes, you heard me. This is a double knitting hem. So it's not a 1 by 1 ribbing hem. And I love it. And I thought, okay, usually I increase the number of stitches when doing, for example, double knitted hem on cardigans. But I thought, you know what? I don't want to increase stitches. So I went down just half of needle size. So the main pattern, the main sweater is worked in 4 mm. And for the hem, I went down to 3.5. I didn't increase any stitch, but I did make sure to work not tight, not loose. So in between, just a relaxed double knitting. My main fear was that I won't be able to put on the sweater because not increasing the double knitting hem, it's does not have the same stretchiness like a 1 by 1 ribbing hem or 2 by 2. It is a little bit stretchy, but not what you need actually for a hem. But to be honest, I have no problem to take this off or to put it on, and to take this out. And I'm glad. I'm glad because I feel I will implement this double knitting or double knitted hem more in my projects, because it keeps the shape differently and just gives the to the finished garment a more polished look, if I can say so. Yes. And I've done the same for the sleeves. For the sleeves, I have like 1.5 centimeter of double knitted cuff. And you know what I love the most about it, especially on the sleeves? I feel like this sweater has such a beautiful classic cable look. I mean, I know cables are very, very popular in the knitting community, and they were this year, and probably they will be next year also. But so many patterns, they have such wide panels of honeycombs and wide braids, cables, and but this one, it's more how should I say, discreet, but at the same time modern, but also reminds me of the sweaters that my grandma was knitting. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. This is the feeling I have with this sweater. So I thought that longer one by one ribbing sorry, cuff will distract from the beauty of these panels, cable panels, and texture. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a silly thought. Maybe if I would have done just a regular one by one ribbing cuff, maybe there were. I lost my thoughts. Maybe it would have not been such a huge difference. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This is how I felt with this pattern. And I do, I really enjoyed working on this sweater. I don't know. It felt, the color, although I'm not sure this is my color, but it's nice to have it. The pattern in general and the feeling of the yarn. I so much recommend this combo of yarn of Isair Tweed and Isair Alpaca One. I've used this before, and I'm even thinking that I have in mind, once I finish with what I have on needles, to make again the Agnet cardigan by Petite Knit. And sometimes I'm thinking if I should use this combo because it's so nice, and for a brioche stitch I think it has the perfect weight, and yeah, I think it will look nice with this yarn. Yeah. Oh, and the most important thing, or maybe one of the, it's the fact that I ran out of yarn. I ran out of yarn working on the second sleeve right here. I was about here. And even if I'm coming close, you won't see the difference. I ran out of the Isair Tweed, the fingering. And I first searched in the little bits of yarn I have from different projects, leftovers, and I decided to use a little bit of aroma lamb's wool. But that lamb's wool, even if it has a lot more meterage, it feels more like a sport weight. But I mean, you need to know very well these two yarns to make the difference when you see the sweater in person. I mean, it's very hard to see the difference because the colors were almost identical. It's the only difference is that the Aroma lamb's wool was a little bit thicker, and it was two ply, so two threads wrap around, and this Isair is just one thread. So maybe this also made a little bit the difference in thickness, but I can live with this. I'm sure you don't see the difference. So, and this is another problem I noticed. I don't know, maybe issue. I heard a lot of knitters saying that they ran out of yarn. They didn't had enough yarn, although they got as the Sarah Nolan project says. So maybe this is happening because sometimes she's one of those designers that, I don't know, maybe she feels almost all the time inspired to make new patterns. And I guess she has some deadlines and things like that. And when she's doing test knits, many times the knitters, they don't need to finish the project. They need to finish the yoke and one sleeve. And I guess this is one of the issues, approximating the yarn, it's not accurate. So maybe this is one of the reasons that we run out of yarn. And it's not the first time. When I've made the Alvar pullover, I had the same problem. So technically I had the same meterage as she had. She gives in the pattern. I've made the size correctly. I worked to the pattern, so I didn't do modification or added centimeters to the length or things like that, and still I did not have enough yarn. And I remember that also for that project I had something similar in thickness and color, and I used that. But yeah, so take this also in consideration. Overall, I like the project. I'm happy I have it. It's a very nice sweater. It's a very nice looking sweater. And I'm happy that it's mine. And maybe it is time for me to move to the next project. Now let me tell you about my second project. I had to change because I had a long sleeve dress, and as you can see, it is so shiny today. It's shocking after weeks of rain and wind and things like that. Anyway, thank you, son. Okay, let me show you and talk a bit about my second knitting project that I finished. And you saw this because this was a work in progress last time. So I finished the Wild Mare, I think it's called, sweater by Coco Amour. And this was one of those projects that you like to make it, you enjoy working it, you like the construction, you like the instruction, you like the stitch, but it's not my first option in terms of wearing this. But I do wear this just because it's a light sweater. So this is in Hull Fisherman Rib. It's top down. It's a raglan. It has a folded neckline that it's not like mine. Mine is very short because I didn't want it up on my neck, higher on my neck. This stitch grows in width and it shrinks in length, and this is the case of this one because the sleeves were not like this when I finished it, but it grew and of course become shorter. I don't mind. I really don't mind because I can wear it like this, and you say that it's meant to be like this, so I don't have a problem. I think part of the fact that I don't like this sweater, it's the yarn I've used. So this is a wool I had at, it's a cone wool that has a lot of spinning oil. And although I washed this, I feel it's not enough. I feel it needs more wash. But it's not even this. It's the fact that this stitch needs a different yarn. It needs a heavy yarn to pop out correctly, to feel correctly, because normally this is a bouncy texture, but this yarn I've used makes it not bouncing. So I think this is one of the main problems. I don't reach that this sweater as a first option, the yarn I've used. So I think if you use something with alpaca, for example, I think it will be perfect. But yeah, not this type of yarn. So yeah, it was not a smart choice, but for kindergarten, I think it's perfect. It doesn't matter. I don't have any care about this sweater. I was shocked because I soon realized before ending this sweater that the yarn was not the greatest choice I have ever made for a project. And I guess I was in such a hurry to finish this because it felt like a failure. I didn't even realize when I dropped a stitch and I washed this, I block it, I wear it, I worn this, and it was one day I took it at a kindergarten, and when I came home, I saw I have a hole here. What's happening? And I keep putting my finger in, and I saw that that hole became larger and larger. And I came home. I don't even remember which of the sleeves. Anyway, I used a little bit of the same yarn and pick up the stitch on the back and yeah, fixing the problem there. So, but it's the first time I have never, ever, ever before slipped a stitch in a project. Never. And to realize, at least to realize once you are wearing that. So, never happened to me. But yeah, never say never. So I do recommend this pattern. I do recommend. It is a very well written pattern, very easy to follow, nothing complicated. It's just clear instructions and yeah, it's a nice looking sweater. It's just not my type of sweater, but it was really, really enjoyable to make this pattern. Yeah. Other than that, there are a lot of modifications because a lot. Yeah, a little bit. Actually, this pattern, if I remember correctly, I think all those details like neckline and hem and cuffs are made in twisted rib or at least half twisted rib. Oh yeah, now I remember that I've made, no, here I've made a regular one by one ribbing. I thought I've made a double knitted hem, but no, 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 no. It's just one a regular ribbing. I could wear this like this and see what I mean, that the yarn is not the one that I needed. It's just this sweater, it's keeping the shape that you give. It's like I have a paper sweater, you know, it's just feels, I don't know, it's just, it does not feel like the wool I am used with. I don't know why. It's just, it's very dry, first of all. And this is not something that bothers me as long as you wash it and it change a bit. But this didn't change. I mean, this is, I could say, is at least as dry as it was before washing. So I thought it's because of the spinning oil, and I thought because I've worked with a similar yarn before, and that one after wearing and washing becomes softer and softer and softer, but not this one. So this one feels like a paper. Yeah, this is the feeling, like a paper. And yeah, I just don't like it. It doesn't feel natural, and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm sorry for giving you all these weird conclusions, but it's, yeah, this is how it feels. So I totally recommend the pattern. Go for it if you want something not mindless, but easy to do, very easy to do. And be smarter and use a better yarn choice than I did with mine. And now, after I finished this, I was a little bit stressed because, hold on, you see, I have another sweater quantity of this yarn, and my lord, I don't know what to do with this. I I really don't know. I thought to make a self-drafted, again, raglan stockinette stitch sweater. Maybe the stockinette stitch will feel different than this texture. I have to think about it. But one thing it's for sure, I don't want to use this for cables or a texture like this one, because it's just not for this yarn. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious if you have ideas. I don't understand what you can do with this yarn. It's for color work. Maybe I should use it as a thread and to pair it with a little bit of alpaca. Maybe that will help, because here I had it two threads. Yeah, maybe I should buy a little bit of alpaca, lace alpaca, and pair with this. Yeah, that's an idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I will see. For the moment, yeah, I have enough projects on my needles. Now I won't change, I promise. Let me talk about another finished object that I love, but I think I will put it on me because it's a cardigan. Hold on, hold on. Okay, guys, so I changed so many times in this episode that I don't even know my hair. It's a mess anyway. So, guys, let me show you this beauty, because it is a beauty no matter what mistakes I've made with this cardigan. This is the Comebackigan cardigan by Andrea Mori, or Drea Rene Knits. And this is such a wonderful pattern. I don't know what got me with this cardigan, but actually, guys, this is my first pattern from Andrea Mori. It's the first time I'm knitting something from her. And you know how it felt? It felt like a relief. Why? I think this is from the very few knitting patterns of this year that my mind had a rest, my knitting mind. I just trust this pattern from the first time I started to knit it. And the moment I saw the numbers in the pattern, because I am with the numbers, not with the gauge, with the total numbers of sleeves, of, I don't know, body, of things like that. And I said, these are my numbers. And from that moment, I just relaxed and followed the pattern exactly. I mean, just a little bit of modification I've made, and I will tell you about. So, first of all, this is a bottom-up construction. You start with the sleeves, and then you work the body. The body means the front and the back together, back and forth. And then once you reach the length you need at the underarm, you join sleeves with the rest of it and continue to work the raglan. Now, I will stand up. You will see that if you see the saw the picture here on my screen, you will see that this pattern has pockets, and I now will show you that I have only one pocket and why. So guys, this is the cardigan. Please be aware that I did not swatch for this project. Okay, I don't know how you can see, how much you can see, but if it's not visible, I will make another video. Now, in terms of the pockets, I will try to sit down. So I've made the pockets. I will close this so you can see what I'm talking about. First of all, I choose to make size 2. Because one of the reason was because I wanted to wear this with my dresses. So I didn't want something oversized, and I didn't want something very long because I don't look, in my mind, good with dresses and long cardigans. I know there are a lot of ladies that are looking great, but my body is just how it is. Anyway, when I put the pockets, can you see how high is the pocket? Where I have the one, I just took this down because here. So it felt so weird that the pocket comes on my breast, you know. So I thought I look a little bit ridiculous like this. Now I took down one. I am a little bit worried because I need to wash this again, and you can see how visible it is here because it was sewn down this. Now I need to make a little bit of courage to take this one down because I just don't see, where where is my sewing. And please admire a little bit. These buttons are just spectacular. Yeah. So guys, I have no enough words to recommend this pattern. I mean, for somebody it might not seem something spectacular, but trust me, this is such a wonderful pattern. So my plan is to take down this second pocket. I also showed to my husband and I said, Livy, can you tell me, do you find weird that I have pockets on my boobs? And he said, it's not ugly, but it's something that is caught your attention, and that's not something I want. So I also thought to cut in here, just in here, to make a cut like this, and to attach a thread because I have enough, and to work the pockets inside, you know, so I have the opening here. But I don't know, what are your suggestions? Another suggestion, of course, it will be to make them smaller, you know, but I think smaller will look different. I mean, it won't have the same look. But on the other hand, if I make them inside, then maybe it will look nicer. I mean, you can see the opening of the pocket, and you know that there is a pocket there, but you don't see it. I was so excited. I will try to move this because it's not sitting right. I was very excited about the pockets. I was so excited about it. However, guys, I so much recommend this pattern. And another modification I want to make, I don't know if you can see, so, but maybe it's just because my watch, I will see. I also thought to cut in here and to make the two rows of double knitting and then to make again the tubular bind off, although I started with tubular bind off and I started with double knitted rows, but it's so different when you make them bottom up than when you make them top down. I don't know why. I guess it's the weight. I talked about this in a previous episode. I guess it's the weight that it's just, it gives a different feel and look to the finishing detail. I don't know. So I feel like now it's coming, it's folding in like this. But yeah, maybe it's my husband told me maybe it's your watch, because if I have the watch here, I don't feel the same. Yeah, I think I'm silly. I think it's the watch. Yeah, I think it's the watch. Yeah. We won't wear watches with this cardigan. No, really. This is the first time I've made a raglan knitting pattern and I find this type of instructions. How should I explain this? You have like a, not a chart, it's a, oh my god, what is the word in English? It's like a written chart, let's say so. There are columns, I don't know. In my language, it's tabel. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's been so long, and you know that I'm not a native English speaker, so yeah, just this word is slipping now. You have this instruction in a graphic for the raglan. You decrease differently on some rows and differently on other rows and even more differently on new rows, and it's different for each size, but she structured the information so clever, so clever. And you have this chart and it says the size, no, the size, it's up, and then are the number of rows, and it says on this row you making this, every decrease row, like 4 or 5 different decrease rows are having a letter, let's say like a letter and a different color, and you just see this chart graphic or how it calls, and you just search for your size. You can see exactly how many rows you will work. So that's so genius, because you can measure your row gauge and it's more easy to have a control when you are not on the same row gauge. This is very smart. I swear it's the first time I'm seeing this. So you can follow all the sizes and you know exactly when you are finishing with the decreases for your size. And also she gives you suggestions if you are not on the same row gauge, what to do. So that was amazing. I mean, no stress, no to, and the pattern, this texture, actually it's knit and pearls, and when you start at the beginning it might feel a little bit confusing, but actually it is absolutely easy. Once you make a couple of repeats, then you can see when you need to change, because it's 4-row repeats, and so you work 2 rows the same, and then the next 2 rows are the opposite. Yeah, I cannot say more because it's a paid pattern, but just to I don't know, motivate you in case you saw this pattern and you thought, I'm not sure, give it a try. It is wonderful. And I followed her instructions for the bottom bands. It's a double knitted bottom band. I even like So this is another problem I have with some patterns, and I've started, of course, to modify this. It's this first button that you count from the top, that it gets a little bit problematic. I mean, for many of the patterns, this is useless. I mean, it's totally wrong, but not with this pattern. Can you see how beautiful it sits? Yeah. So this is not useless. This is actually very useful. So that's one thing I loved about it. So these little details tells me all I need to know about her writing and thinking as a designer. You know, there we if if we try, I think not all of us, but we can become a pattern creator. I'm not saying designer, because for me designer, it's, I don't know, in my mind it means more than to create this a pattern, you know. But anyway, I think we can all self-drafting, but to write a pattern and to pay attention to these very small details, you know, that in the end will give such a beautiful look to the finished object. This is what I am expecting from the designers, you know, not ignoring these little bits and bobs that will make such a great difference in a pattern. And also you can see this is a v-neck, but again I like that it's not that huge opening v-neck that even falls from the shoulder. This is by far one of the best cardigans in terms of fitting I have ever made. And you know, I am working a lot of cardigans. I'm not an expert. Please don't think I am, how should I say, giving myself more credit than I deserve. I know my place. But as a knitter, as an avid knitter, as an obsessed knitter with cardigans, and I've made a couple so far in different construction, I can tell you that this is one of those that, yeah, deserves to make it. I'm not paid to say nothing about anybody. You know, it's just me being so happy when, you know, you find something and you feel that oh, this was such a nice experience. And sometimes this break from overthinking a pattern and modification, it's such a relief and such a joy, because it helps me to remember why I am knitting, you know, the pleasure of knitting, you know. So, yes, I didn't say nothing about the yarn. I'm sorry. This episode is all over the place. This is Reuma Finul. This is the color 4076. I did not had enough. I had to buy extra a ball, because this bottom band, guys, this takes a lot of yarn. These are like 20 and something stitches wide, so that's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, this bottom band I think was the hardest part of this beautiful cardigan, but totally worth it. I just don't imagine this cardigan without this bottom band. And it's the first time I'm making differently the buttonholes. I've made them vertically. Usually I do them horizontally, but this time I followed her advice, and that means a lot of breaks of the yarn. But I took the risk because this is Reuma Finule, and this yarn is 100% wool and it's sticky. So I knew I won't risk this to unravel. And what I did like is that actually following her instructions, my bottom bands were quite big, long. And I got the buttons that she recommends. I think I got the same 22 or 23 millimeter buttons. And by having those threads from breaking the yarn for the buttonholes, when waving in ends, I just close a little bit more the buttonholes, and that make them perfect. And I think from now on I will make the buttonholes like this because I love it. Although, yeah, to break the yarn that many times, it's not funny. I picked up exactly the number of stitches she said. I didn't do any modification on the bottom band, and it felt such a relief. I've used a number of needles she recommended. This is a light cardigan. I think it has not even, oh, let's say almost 300 grams. It's unbelievable. One day I had it at a kindergarten, and one of my colleagues says, "Oh, Maria, this is such a gorgeous color on you." And she liked it. She liked it so much. And this is my third finished project that needs a little bit of, yeah, I just need to take this pocket. I will take this pocket out and I will wash it again, but not before of waiting your suggestion if I should cut and make inside pockets, or I should just leave it without pockets and make peace with the fact that this cardigan, although I love the pockets from the first moment I saw the pictures, it won't have pockets. I'm checking the microphone, I'm sorry. Yeah, I will see. Now, on to my last finished object, and then I will briefly talk about the 3 projects I have on my needles. So, my last finished object, and I promise I won't talk about it that much, it's the Julegenser or Christmas sweater 2024 by Sandnes Garn. I finished this, guys. I don't have a picture with it, but I can tell you it has the same weird fit as a round yoke. I know round yokes, they don't fit weird on everybody. But I found again, when you have a bigger bust measurements, they don't fit right no matter how many short rows you are adding, no matter where you adding them, no matter if it is top down or bottom up. The front, it will always rise on neck. And this is no exceptions. Okay, I've made size 3. This is a top-down raglan sweater, but you actually start this project as a back and forth, and at some point you are adding casting on stitches and join everything in the round and continue in the round. So it's a top-down raglan. Now I can tell you the raglan, it is huge. It is very long. I mean, it has at least more 8 centimeters than my natural raglan body line. And it feels just like a circular colorwork yoke. When when we are talking, we are using our hands and gestures and things like that. And when you're doing things like that, all this upper part is raising, and it's not naturally coming back if you lower your hands, so it will sit weird. So yeah, do I care? No, I don't. If this would have been a project that I could have wear every day, I would have been disappointed, because nobody wants a sweater that sits weird, feels weird. Um, but this is a special sweater. It's a Christmas sweater. I will wear this a couple of times in December. I'm not planning to make another one. I think this satisfied my Christmas knitting mojo for the at least next year too. So I just it's nice to have them, but it's so difficult to make them. It takes a lot of time, and I think it's just mentally, because that you won't wear this all year long. So I guess it makes it a little bit more difficult to finish the project in time. This is not a perfect tension. I had a lot of problems. You just need to see this very close to see, especially here. I think you can see it's puckering a little bit more here than here. And I had the same with the sleeves. This one looks better, but this one, it's again not a good tension. This is not an easy project. I wouldn't say most of the rows, but lots of the rows are with 3 colors in a row. Another part of the sweater that I find it so hard, and at least for the first sleeve I think I tried this a couple of times. When you pick up stitches to start the sleeves, you actually need to pick up stitches here like in 2-3 colors, and this reindeer didn't match the reindeer on the sleeve, didn't match the reindeer on the body, so I had to go back a few times to eliminate some stitches just to have this continuity here. So that was hard. Another problem, so I followed the instruction for the sweater. I didn't come up with modifications, and a part of the fact that I decreased a little bit more on the sleeves on the last row. But I mean, the neckline has the same length. It's a folded and sewed down here. The hem, it has the same length. The cuff has the same length as in the pattern. However, when on second sleeve right here, I ran out of green. So I used green also here, here, and here, but I didn't have. And I refused to buy another 50 grams of this green. This is tin pirgin, the yarn for the sweater, for just a couple of rows. And I actually used this one double that I showed you earlier. Of course, it's not the same, because holding that double, I got a thicker yarn than what tin pirgin is. And tin pirgin from Sannes Garn, it is a fingering. But who cares? I mean, there is a difference in thickness and also in the color, because that one is more in the gray, green gray, and this one is a very green, if makes sense. But I didn't care, there are so many things to wave in here on this sweater that oh my boy, oh my Lord. I am so glad I was a little bit smart and do them as I went, because otherwise, it was a lot. I'm glad I finished it. I will enjoy to wear this, and I hope to wear this with my children at kindergarten. Not my children, the children from the kindergarten. I hope to have a special day with Christmas sweater. I'm dreaming about it. Let's see. Yeah, it was a challenge for my color work or stranded knitting skills. I'm not such a, how do you say, experienced color work knitter, you know. So that, but this was a lot of practice. Yeah, if I run out of yarn for size 3, I guess the other sizes bigger than mine will run out even earlier, because it's weird that we have the same amount of contrast color in the pattern, no matter what size you are making. So that's weird because it won't be enough, some of the colors. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. It's an experience I didn't quite enjoy to make, to be honest. I don't find an easy project, this one. Although it can be, but it's, if not hard, it's at least overwhelming. I think this is the right word. Again, the yarn, it is Tin Pirgin from Sunnes Garn. It's the recommended yarn. I got the colors from the recommendation in the pattern, so I didn't change anything. Needles 3mm. So yeah, I'm glad I finished this. I started this in November 2024 and I finished this in September 2025. It was not quite a whole year, but quite close. Of course, I didn't work on this every month. I had like at least 6 months of break, if not 7. Yes. Now, let me show you what are my works in progress. Okay, let's talk about the 3 main works in progress I have on my needles, and together with this one are actually my 4 plan for this autumn, which yeah, it's the last month, it's November already. Okay, my first one, and I'm so advanced and so confused because I don't know what to do with this. This is the Pitted Whiskey cardigan by Thea Coleman. And what started as a confused project, it actually turned out in such a quick and enjoyable and wonderful project. So this is a bottom-up drop shoulder cardigan. You start with the hem and then with the body and fronts together, work back and forth, and then you work the back separately and the fronts. So with the creases, as you can see, and then you pick up stitches, and actually you don't pick up, I pick up stitches, and now I'm working the sleeve bottom, no, top down circular, because actually the pattern tells you to work also the sleeves bottom up and to sew them, but I thought I can do this much easier for me, and it works perfectly. So I picked up the amount of stitches that she says for my size. Actually, the amount of stitches that you have after you increase. So I use the number and it works perfectly. It has this beautiful cable on the front that it's a little bit more complicated than what I have made so far. I mean, it's not hard. It's just a little bit more to follow. And on the back, it has different panels like honeycomb, but this is a 2 stitches honeycomb, and you have a double moss stitch, and you have this braids of cables that are happening in a few steps. I mean, it looks like a simple braid, but it's actually not quite that simple. It's a little bit confusing at the beginning because the hem, it's a mix. The hem, it's a mix of 2x2 ribbing and 1x1 ribbing. So you have both in the hem. And it takes a couple of repeats, not repeats, of like half of the chart to have the panels visible and to feel that the process of knitting becomes more intuitive, because at the beginning it's anything but intuitive. So this was the part that I found the hardest, the beginning. The chart, it is an almost, I think, 30 rows, the big one, this one. So this is the more complicated. Now, this, I like how this fits me. But my problem is that I am running out of yarn. And this is a huge problem. Why? Because this is a hand dye yarn that I got in June. I think at the beginning there was a small knitting festival close to Bergen, and the seller name is the Danish Dye Lot, so they are from Denmark. And today I messaged them, but I didn't get an answer yet. So this is everything I have left. I had 400 grams. Each hank had 100 grams and 275 meters. So I was hoping to make both of the sleeves with my last hank, but I don't think I am halfway through the first sleeve, and I didn't weight this, but I think I'm very close to already have used half of it. So I don't know what I will do. If they will say that they don't have this anymore, this will be a huge heartbroken problem, because I don't know what to use to continue this project, because I thought at some yarn from Hillesvåg that is called Varde, that it has the same texture and thickness, but it's not the same color. And this is actually my problem, the color, what I will do. And I went on their website, which is actually an Etsy shop, but they don't have anything for sale. They don't have anything in the store. So I don't know what to do with this. Please tell me if there is somebody in Scandinavia watching this, and it has a hank from the Danish Dye Lot. I will tell you right away the name of the yarn. So this is the label, and the color is chestnut. Please, please, if you live close to me, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway, Germany, please tell me if you have one of these hanks. And you can sell it to me. I will be more than happy to buy it so I can finish my project. Please, please, please. So this is the this is a 70% Danish Gotland and 30% Merino. I choose to make a size 2. I will put this on me. Just hold on a second so you can see that it's not small. Of course, it's not washed, so this will change. Okay, so here it is. With washing, this will open, and also I wanted to make a wide double knitted bottom band. And how I feel this yarn, this is it feels elastic, you know, and I know it will grow. I like the fit here. I like how it looks here on the shoulder, and I like the sleeve. I still have to make a lot of decreases on the sleeve. Maybe I will end up decreasing less than she recommends to increase in the pattern. I will try it on once I make more progress. And the sleeve is actually very easy, because on the sleeve you have just this honeycomb panel that it's just 8 stitches, and you have on each side you have half of the honeycomb, just 2 stitches on each side. So it's very easy. And then you have just a double moss stitch, and here is where you decrease on this double moss stitch panel. And I like this so much. And this is another pattern that actually has pockets that I won't be able to make them, not only because I don't have the yarn, it's because it's the same situation as the other cardigan. The pockets are quite big and they will come up high on my bust. So I cannot tell you how worried I am I won't be able to finish this. And it's a risk I took from the beginning. Just let me take this. Oh yeah. So I'm so sorry. I don't have enough yarn. I just it's not that I didn't get enough yarn. It's that when I went to the festival and I went to their stand, this color just spoke to me in so many ways. And unfortunately, they only had left only 4 hanks. So I got everything they had. And I thought, you know, I have like 275 meters. It means 550 meters, 1,100 meters. And I thought, I can find something to do with it. But it would have worked not with so much texture and cables, because this takes more yarn. It's my fault. It's my fail. It's my, But I wish to finish this. I want so bad to finish this because it's such a beautiful pattern. It's wonderful. I'm making size 2. I want you to know, if you are new here, that I never gauge swatch. And for none of the projects I talked about in this episode and in my previous other episodes, I never gauge swatch. And I don't know what I will do. I just don't know. I love this project. I love this project so much. And I wanted so bad to finish this, but I just don't know how I will do this. I'm hoping I'm hoping they will message me back. But what are the chances for them to sell me another skein when they have nothing in the store? I don't know if if it's because they go to these knitting festivals and maybe they don't have time to update the store on Etsy, or I'm heartbroken to be honest. And just the thought that I need to not finish this, it's just, I also thought to buy what is the closest from Hillesvåg and then to dye myself the cardigan. I don't know, guys. I will continue to finish the first sleeve to see how much yarn I've used for the first sleeve, because I am in a position, weird position. I mean, I don't know how much yarn I need for the first sleeve, and if they will finally answer me and they send me another skein, nothing will guarantee me that it will be the same dye lot. So I don't know. I don't know what I will do. But this was such a nice project, and I was dreaming to have this cardigan. I love so much the pattern. When I decided to make this sweater, I was thinking in between the book club cardigan from Sari Nordlund and the Dagmar jacket from Petit Knit. And when I saw this, I thought, I want to make this. None of those spoke to me like this cardigan. I like it more. I like more the look of this one. And I'm glad I didn't do the book club cardigan, because I saw a podcast I think today, and the person was wearing the book club cardigan, and I don't like how that looks. She was very happy with the fit, and that's the most important. Doesn't matter how I think about it, but I don't like that for me. Although I do like the look in general of the texture, but I don't like the way it will fit me. So this is my one of my main works in progress, and I will show you my next one. It's another work in progress that I had to stop because I don't have money to buy the yarn that I need, so I have to wait my income, my little income. So if you remember, and if you saw my knitting plans episode for this autumn, I was saying that I would love to make the Aberdeen Argyll sweater by Martin Story. And I'm sorry for mispronouncing. I think last time I said Argyll. I was so convinced that this is the way you pronounce, but I think it's Argyll. So here we are. I started with the back. So this is knit by pieces. I have to say that where other patterns, they have so much information that maybe they overwhelming the knitter, this has a lack of information, this pattern, but that's okay. So far so good. So you start like I do with the back. This sweater has actually a different hem and cuffs that is in fair isle and has two extra colors from what I have here. But I decided to make one by one ribbing hem and cuff and to make it in what I consider main color, this one, just because I thought it was too much in a sweater. I mean, the sweater is beautiful, but I don't know, that hem and those cuffs, they added more than the sweater needed, in my opinion. So I keep it simple. Now, for that hem and those cuffs, in the pattern, the designer recommends to use the fair isle method of knitting. And for the rest of it, to use the intarsia. I don't use intarsia. I'm using the fair isle for the body because it's 2 colors in a row. It's never 3 colors, and I think it makes it not easy but accessible. So this is what I am doing, and I'm actually like 6 centimeters before I will split, not splitting, I will start to decrease for the underarm. I changed the color because initially I thought I will go with the colors in the pattern. So I changed, I think this one, it was actually another green, like a military green that I took out. I didn't want it, so I added the same color as this cardigan. And then that green military, I took this more very bright dark green, and then this purple was actually more pink, and I changed it with this purple. Overall, I think this is already too much as colors, but at the same time, I feel it's not. I feel these colors are just, beautiful together. And my husband saw this and he said, you know what, I would love to have a sweater. I like this motif so much. And I showed him a couple of inspiration for men's, and he is very interested. So I need to clear my needles because my husband asked for a sweater. Oh my lord. Okay, this sweater does not come in too many sizes. I think there are like 4 or 5, maybe 5. Initially, I thought I will do the size 2. And I actually started the size 2. And I worked without the hem. So I made a provisional cast on and I started directly with the color work. And I worked like here. And I measured and it was too big. The gauge of the pattern is 26 stitches, but I actually had 23. And I unraveled and started again, and now I'm making size 1, and now I'm a little bit worried that maybe this is not quite smart because, I mean, technically, if I would have had the same gauge, size 1 definitely won't fit me. But size 2, even if I would have been on gauge, it would have had too much positive ease than I wanted for this type of sweater. So I am somehow in between those 1 and 2 sizes. But this is because I don't use the same yarn. So the recommended yarn is actually a Rowan tweed. It's those 25 grams balls of yarn. But I can find this in a store in a Bergen yarn, this yarn, but it's too expensive. I think it's more than 11 euro one ball of 25 grams. And I've said I just don't want to pay that much money. And I don't want to make something with alpaca. And I decided to use the Reuma Finule. And this light color, light green, is color 498. The purple is 4126. The yellow, or this one, is 4076, and the green, dark green, is 0432. Yeah, but now I'm running out of this. So I stopped and I thought maybe I will wait until my income is coming so I can be able to buy a little bit more, so to make a little bit more of progress. Yes, I don't have anything else to say so far. It's just, it's not easy. I didn't show you the back. So I decided to not pick up floats because I don't have more than 7 stitches in between colors, changing colors. So I thought I won't, because it makes all a little bit more complicated when working back and forth and catching also floats. Yeah, so I'm a slow knitter with this project, just because I want to make sure I will have as much possible as a relaxed fabric, because I am already unsure about the size I choose. So if I don't keep everything relaxed, I will end up with an even smaller garment. But I think I always measure like this, so I see where are my, so this is passing my shoulders, so I think I will be fine. This is how I measure, you know. Yeah, because this is the widest part of my body, together with the circumference bust, right? So yeah, I don't know, I hope I will be fine with this, but it's not the quickest project and the easiest project, but I think in the end it will be worth it. Oh, and what I did different, because I changed here. So I actually started with a provisional cast on in a different color that has nothing to do with the colors from this sweater. And then I worked in 1x1 ribbing. I've made 2 rows of double knitting, and then I've made the tubular bind off, and then I unraveled the provisional cast on. I put all my stitches on the needle and I started the color work, because again, I don't know why the hem is looking better when making top down than bottom up. So I will do the same for the front and for the sleeves. Yeah, I'm using 3.25 millimeter for the main body and 3 millimeter for the hem. They're actually the needles that the pattern recommends, and I decided to go with it. And my last work in progress, it's another beautiful, beautiful fall knitting plan and sweater. So I started the Timmy sweater by Sarah Solomon. I will show you. I am working at the back. Yeah. Look how beautiful is this. I'm making size 2. I'm using Rauma Finul, and this is the color, I have it here. This is the color 0411. It's this brownie beige. This is again a top down. It features this beautiful cable that it's actually an 8 rows repeat chart. It's so easy, so easy. It looks so fancy and complicated, but it is so easy to make. And I've made the decreases for the underarm, and now I just have to make like, I think, another 5 chart repeats for the yoke, and then I will start to work to shape the shoulders. And I consider myself very close to finish the back, and I have plans for this weekend to finish the back, and maybe next week to start the front. Yes, so you work by piece, and then you need to sew the pieces together. And I'm so excited for the neckline. You will pick up stitches and work that beautiful neckline. That is a part of what I loved about this sweater looking sweater. Yes, I do enjoy all these 3 projects, and sometimes I work a week at this, or sometimes I work at the cardigan a week, and then I might work at the other one. These are my autumn plans, but not in the way that I wanted to have all these 4 garments ready to wear this autumn. If I wanted this, I might have probably started in summer with the knitting. So no, it's just like autumn inspiration for myself, you know, and I know I will enjoy to wear them even in the other seasons. I think I can wear them in every season. Yes. And I still have another 2 little projects, just for the moments that I might feel overwhelmed, and I'm feeling overwhelming with all these 3. I had special yarn in my stash for some of them are not that old. So when I went to this knitting festival and I got this yarn, I got also 2 hanks of this hand dye yarn, which I don't know what I got this. I mean, I knew I wanted to support the vendor. I am following the vendor, which name of the vendor is Fortuna. It's a hand dyer here in Norway. And I just wanted to support the vendor. But the problem is that I'm not attracted about this type of hand dyed yarn, variegated, or how do you call it? And I just don't know why I got these 2 hanks. Anyway, I started a Sophie scarf. Yeah. This is such an easy project. So here I am. I have a stitch marker here. So I will make a Sophie scarf. Probably I will make it a little bit longer than the pattern recommends, just because I know myself, and if I make it too short, I will feel out of breath. I won't be able to breathe. I feel suffocated if I have it on my neck. So I need to make it a little bit longer. For this, I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles, no gauge. I don't know why I use this needle, because I just checked the yarn and I thought, these needles might work, and they are working. This is how it looks when you knit the yarn. It's a lot of orange and brown and beige and a little bit of gray, blue-gray maybe. So this will be enough to make Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, and I will still have one, and maybe I will make a Musselborough hat. It's been a while since my last one, just to have it for the winter at the kindergarten will be perfect. This one is actually lamb's wool, and I think it's Hillesvåg yarn, this one, or Rauma, I'm not sure. So this is 100 gram and 375 meters. I would say it's a sport. Yeah, this is looking so much like Ask from Hillesvåg. Yeah, it's wool. It's 100% Norwegian wool. So this is a mindless project. Every morning, 15 minutes, I'm working on this. Or I have a second Sophie scarf. I never thought I will need them, but I have this yarn and I have to do something with it. Now this is a very expensive yarn for my budget, and it's precious yarn. This is from La Bien-Aimée. And it's sitting in my stash for 3 years now. And it's a present from my husband in a period of time when I felt depressed and confused and overwhelmed with the new life we had here and everything we needed to went through to make a good life here. And yeah, there was a lot. And he saw me many times admiring this yarn in the store. The store is called the Norwegian Spirit. And he got me this. Actually, I had two, because one I use it in a sweater, a color work sweater that I don't wear anymore. And I have this for 3 years in my stash. This is 75% merino and 25 superwash, exactly what I don't like. The yarn feels spectacular. The colors are just stunning. I mean, I don't know how she dyes this yarn, but it's stunning. And I thought it will be the right moment to start a Sophie scarf, and at least to have it, this yarn, in something that I can wear. And a scarf, I think it will be very nice. Although I'm not a scarf or shawl person, but I will give my best to wear these. So, but these are not priority. These are just when I feel the need to do something mindless, I just took one of these. Actually, if I'm doing, I don't know, 10 increases here, then I stop and I take the other one and I'm making there also 10 increases. Although this one is longer with the same number of increases than this one, because this yarn, it's also sport weight, but it's thinner than this one. And this is wool, so it's different. My friends, this was all the knitting I had for today. And I know it was a lot. I know there are some of you that are really enjoying this type of long episodes, and I know that are more of you that they don't enjoy these long episodes, and I so understand. So if you just went by here and just saw 5 minutes, thank you. It means so much. It's November today. Today is Friday, so I had a free day and I thought to come and to talk about it, because I don't know if I will make another episode in December, or maybe I will do, I don't know, we shall see. But definitely I want to do that special episode of the year of everything I need in 2025. So that I will make. But if I will do a new knitting podcast episode, I don't know, a regular, we shall see. Other than that, I don't have nothing new about projects or plans. I didn't get any yarn, apart of the fact that I had to take an extra ball for this one to finish it, and 2 balls for the Argyle sweater, but that, I don't know if it counts as a acquisition, because yeah. And I'm very proud of myself. I think last time I got a sweater or cardigan quantity of yarn was at the end of July or beginning of August, I don't remember. In the meantime, I managed to save money and to buy this here in the back, and here and on the back of my chair is another closet like this, so I keep my cardigans and sweaters. In the meantime, I gifted 2 of my knits to one of my husband colleagues. She's also Romanian. She's not knitting, and she has 2 small children, and she's not having the time to knit. But she was so happy. So I gifted her one vest I test knitted for Knitonomy that was not what I wanted. A beautiful project, but not for my body. I will put a picture. So I gifted this to her. And I also took the decision to not modify my Olga sweater by Petit Knit. I left it just as it was and gifted to the same person, Delia. And she was, we took, she called me and to say thank you, and she wanted to pay me for the yarn, but I said, no, this is a gift. So if you enjoy it and you will wear it, this is enough for me. I like this so much, the Wolga sweater, the feeling of the yarn I've used. It was a yarn with cashmere from Sunnis Garn, recycled tweed, I think it was called, because it's out, that yarn, so it was discontinued because they won't produce it anymore. I think because they come out with their cashmere line. Anyway, but I didn't like the fit of the Olga sweater. Again, it's a beautiful pattern, but it's not for my body shape. And I don't enjoy stripes in a sweater. I can have this type of, on my dress, the print, you know, the checks, I love them, but those stripes in a sweater, and I tried to wear that sweater with different outfits, never ever felt pretty in it, never. And feel pretty in knitwear, it's a must have for me. I mean, if I don't feel pretty, I don't want to wear that. You know, and not pretty in terms of it's just, yeah, to feel good with yourself wearing your work, you know. Yes, so no yarns. Actually, I'm saving and trying to saving because we need to move. We need to change the house. We are hoping to be ready to take this step in not September, in spring. And yeah, I have to be careful with. We have to be careful, and to be honest, we just still not recovering financially after traveling to Romania this summer. I mean, it felt like yeah, everything we could save, we spend it. We don't regret it because we saw family, so this is the most important. But we are still trying to navigate after the huge amount we had to spend to make that travel. So yeah, financially it's a struggle. I just joked with my husband, and he said I'm a very good mathematician, if he can say so, because he don't know how I managed to budget a whole month and to be able to finish well the month with the little amount of money we have. we had, I don't know if somebody is interested in these things. Maybe I'm weird talking about, but it might not look sometimes, because on the screen everything is beautiful, but I think it's important to stay truth, and to not only build an appearance, because behind the screen you have in front of you, we are normal people with normal struggles. So nothing is perfect. I can have this beautiful dress and this beautiful cardigan and all this beautiful project, but that doesn't mean that it's a perfect life or everything is smooth and everything works perfect. No, it's not. It's just like every other family. I think we are so many that we have a lot of struggles. The most important, I think, is to remember who we are, to stay truth to what we think it's good for us and for people around us, and to remember always to be kind. I think this is the most important, kindness, and yeah, not judge from the first moment, not knowing nothing about a person or a situation to have your own conclusion. Other than that, I think that's it. It was so nice, but at the same time, it felt so hard to come back after a couple of weeks. I had so much to talk about it, and I felt, I don't know, I feel that the more Norwegian I'm learning, the more I struggle with English, because English at this point it's something that I'm using only for the podcast, which is weird. So yeah, sometimes I just try to make when you see that I'm hesitating so much, it's just because in that moment I have a blank in my mind, because the word I want to say, the first one that came in my mind is the Norwegian word, and then I just have to remember that I'm speaking in English. So that's that. I think I ramble enough. Once again, thank you so much, and special thanks to two people here on the channel that supported me on Ko-fi, and I will link it below if you are interested to support the channel or support me. But if you decided not to, it's perfectly fine. I'm not expecting you to do it. But there are two people that donated to my Ko-fi, and thank you so much. I was so pleasantly surprised, and I'm grateful for your help, and wishing you a perfect November ahead. I hope you are needing what brings you joy. I hope you are enjoying the weather wherever you are, and I hope you made beautiful plans, especially now that we have shorter days and not that much natural light. And I will see you next time, maybe with another regular knitting podcast episode, or maybe with the most special episode of the year, everything I need in 2025. Thank you so much, and hugs, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.